created to reign. What does that mean? You are royalty. You were created to win. There's a definition that says to wear a crown.
From your beginning to your end, you were created to reign. It's time to own your royalty, 'cause you are the essence of queen. Oh, that's something now. If I want it, I'm gon' get it. I make it rain, I make it rain. If I want it, I'm gon' get it. I make it rain, oh, I make it rain.
I was created to reign. Here's what happened. Now, when she shines, I don't have to fool with it. I don't have to worry about it. I can celebrate with her because I was created to reign. She was created to reign. We can rock together. We can rock our royalty together. I know who I am.
If I want it, I'm gon' get it. I make it rain, I make it rain. Oh, if I want it, I'm gon' get it. I make it rain, I make it rain.
Yes! Yay! Yay! We're back. We're back. Oh my gosh, we're back. It is season 2. Season 2 of Standing in the Rain podcast. I'm so excited. Y'all have no idea what you're in store for this season. My gosh, and this is another installment in season 2 of These Nuptials. You didn't say it?
Good.
Okay. Y'all are going to get these nuptials. I'm trying to tell you. So I'm so excited. He's back. Say hi to the people.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Okay, so they don't know who you are. So anyway,
You know me.
That tickled myself. They don't know who you are. They don't even know who I am. So for those of you maybe who are new to Standing in the Rain podcast, I'm Dawn Rosemond. I'm the Rainmaker. I am here for you. This is Standing in the Rain podcast designed to do nothing more, nothing less than, I should say, than to point you to your greatness. I'm just my gosh, I'm coming after you with everything I got. And in season 2, we just, man, it's going to be more crazy, more bananas, more new hotness than ever before. But this right here, you've got to go back and watch season 1 if you haven't, and you've got to check out These Nuptials. I'm pretty sure that These Nuptials, this is my husband, by the way. This is the amazing, incomparable Mark Rosemond. Say hi again. Thank you. Okay. So we're gonna. I'm certain. Come on now. We're in the market for a new. We're in the market for a new media person who don't know how to push the right buttons. He don't deserve all that. I didn't get no sounds.
This is your show. You all right?
Oh my God! So wah 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 wah. That's right. I make my own sound.
Right.
I need that. So anyway. I am confident that we're going to be morphing or spinning off These Nuptials into its own podcast. But for now, just rock with me. My gosh, you just never know what we're going to do. But Mike, like I said, this Standing in the Rain is for you. And we wanted to make sure, I wanted to make sure that as, we do this and I bring forward all the amazing people in my life to you, that I make sure that you get you get to get these nuptials. We promised that, we've been married for 20 years.
Put the dub on it. Put the dub on it. It's time to go. It's time to go. I'm just waiting for you. Just waiting. I'm back here chilling, being good. Put that 20 years? Quiet. Dub.
Oh my gosh.
Stack that thing.
So look. Okay, we promised at the beginning of this relationship that we were going to make sure that our marriage was a blessing to people. That we were going to make sure that we used it to bring light. And so, like I said, y'all gonna get these nuptials. There's no way around it. So welcome to These Nuptials. Okay, yes. Mark can't say it right. I don't know if y'all do. Go back and watch season 1. You'll get it, but that's all right. So we, every nothing's different though in this regard with relative to These Nuptials, because we always vibe around a raindrop of the day. So let me back up, because again, I get so excited. Yeah, we're gonna do the backup sound. The backup sound. I thought you were gonna do that beep sound, that beep. Beep. Okay, my bad. You tried to reverse it.
Oh gosh. Okay.
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's gonna get edited. Okay. So rain though, you need to understand. So before you can understand the raindrop of the day, you need to understand what rain means. So rain means to overcome, to dominate, to superabound, to win. I'm pointing because you're gonna see it. To overcome, to dominate, to superabound, to ascend, to win, to sway, to have influence. The essence of win, to wear a crown, which is still my absolute favorite. You are royalty.
Yes.
Golly, everything changes when you get that. Everything changed. The world shifts in your favor when you understand how powerful you are and you endeavor to walk in it. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to vibe around a raindrop of the day, maybe with regard to marriage. And so here, you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
The raindrop, because it's a directive. It's a raindrop. I want you to get it. It's a concept, but it's also a directive to you. For those of you, if you're not married, hang in there. You may want to be. If you are, hang in there. Regardless, watch. Take it in. There's something here for you. But the raindrop for today is the big S word. Submit. I'll just let that sit there. Submit.
Submit.
Ugh.
Give in. Gives it up.
Wait.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute. Wait. Gives it up.
Gives it up.
Is that what?
I tell you now, you look in the dictionary, it's gonna say "give it up."
So wait, wait, I forgot. And I'm all over the place because it's so excited to be, back for season 2. We are in a new place. We rocking and we trying out new stuff. I got new hair.
Yeah, that's right. You do.
I do. I had all the locks before, and now I got all this curly, this stuff here. And so same chick, just new do.
New do.
Yeah, you like it?
It's hot.
It's hot.
It's super hot.
I appreciate that you always let me you don't let me, but you rock with me when I'm messing around with my hair.
It's not my hair.
Well,
You know what I mean? If I had hair,
You'd be rocking this?
I rock my bob.
and then these nuptials would end because there ain't no way I'm dating him or being married to somebody with a bob. So I'm shallow.
Oh,
okay?
Aren't we talking about submitting?
No. That had nothing to do with submitting. That's stupid. Okay? Yeah. There are raindrops. There are raindrops. There are drops within the raindrop of the day. Here's the other one. Don't get a bob if you're a dude. Yeah, don't do a bob. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. So everything's new. So we're just hang in there with us. It's exciting. So the raindrop of the day is submit. I found this definition. There's a lot of. I'm gonna read a few, but this is what one said. It says submission in marriage means selflessness, service, accountability, and respect for your partner, which should be mutual. It's not slavery or a woman's call to lose her voice. The fundamental rubric on which the Christian marriage is built is love, and love is anything but the desire to control. I thought that was good.
That's good.
And so here's some words, so definitions of the word submit, if it works. I mean, it was up here in a second. Hold on. Besides, what did you say? Gives it up. I don't think that's right. For some reason, this is not working. This is technology is great when it works, but I don't know why. I'll come back to that later. But anyway, let's talk about it because I remember. When it pops up, I'll give them to you. But when I remember, we're part of this this marriage group, and we were at the time. Shout out to my married mochas. I miss
Married
y'all.
mochas?
Yeah, I miss all of y'all.
Around the
so
world,
much.
baby. Yep.
Is that? Did you read a book on cool? Or how do you think you sound cool phrases? Around the world, baby. What does that mean?
That means we're around the world. That's what that means.
Again, shout out to our
the
married
problem
mochas. Anyway, but I remember we had a discussion. We were reading a book or something. I forget the name of the book, but the chapter we got was on submission.
Yes.
You remember that?
I remember that.
It was funny because we got the book and we were reading it, and actually we were having I don't know if we were having an argument, but intense fellowship. You don't know if you remember this intense fellowship at that time, and I was like, well, I was right and you were wrong and you weren't agreeing with what I was trying to say. And then Mark made this comment. He's like, why? I can't even get it out. It tickles me. He was like, why won't you just submit already? You remember that? I was like, are you joking? I was like, what? I was like, say it again. I was like, what did you just say?
Oh my God!
I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But I remember we had this whole conversation around this word of submit, and I remember it didn't go down well when we had the conversation within our group because it was just such a ticking time bomb on the floor, right? Remember that? Because a lot of the women were like, go ahead.
If my mind is correct here, it was the fact that there was a whole bunch of strong women who just were not going to follow any part of the word submit.
Why you gotta say it like that?
Because that's what it was. That's what it is.
So I don't know if I remember it quite like that. Say that again. A whole bunch of what? A whole bunch of strong women who weren't going to follow
any parts of that word submit.
Okay. But that's I will give you that. That's true. I was one of those. Well, no, I was in the camp of I didn't mind the word. Wasn't I?
You didn't mind the word.
I didn't mind the
word in itself, but you couldn't stand the definition.
Okay, so we need to talk about this. If things just cut off, we'll just.
If there's a ruckus that happens, there's a lot of shaking on the camera.
You know that this didn't work out. Stay tuned. Just come back later. So I mean, I guess it just centers around the word. I mean, I wish this would pull up. Did yours pull up the definitions?
Well, no.
Yeah, let me see one. I just want to see this. I mean, it's y'all hanging there with it. So the word submit says accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. And then subject to a particular process, treatment, or condition, or what have you. But that first one, I think that's where the wrinkle is.
That is the wrinkle.
That is the wrinkle. Because when you go back to what I read first, right? What I read first, I think gets everybody all tripped up because I think if you understood submission like what I read, submission in marriage means selflessness, service, accountability, and respect for your partner, which should be mutual. It's not slavery or a woman's call to lose her voice. The fundamental rubric on which the Christian marriage is built is love, and love is anything but the desire to control. That wars with accept or yield to a superior force.
And that's the difference right there. The first definition you read, everything is grounded in love. In the Webster dictionary, sorry Webster, this is what you put out there. It's about giving up and just, when you submit, it's literally getting someone strong holding you to a position that's beneath you or beneath them.
Yeah, I think you're right, because when you read it, because it says we're believers, we're followers of Christ. I'm not, you may or may not be those out there you're listening to us, but certainly that's our North Star, if you will. And so for our marriage, when you read the Bible, when it says like wives submit to your husbands, and and there's this, that's like verse 23. I'll find the chapter for you. But right before it talks about like, don't become drunken with wine and all these things like that. Then it says submit to one another. Yeah. But then it specifically says wives submit to your husbands. And then it talks about men, husbands in essence lead your wives, or like Christ leads the church and all these things. And so it gets all twisted, and it's been used as this. It's been used as that. Yeah. Like, I am in authority over you, woman. Yeah. Like, that's a club.
Yeah.
Like, club. Yeah. Like, I'm in authority over you. Do what I say. Yeah. Submit. Yeah. And I personally think that being the ability or the opportunity to submit in the way in which it was intended is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
100%. And the reason why is because when both parties submit and work on out loving each other or loving one another, one of the articles you sent me was regarding washing your spouse's feet. which is in a way a lowly job, but you're putting that other person. I was gonna say you and your corn chips, but
that wasn't.
But
that
I regress. I'm
unkind.
sorry. Yeah, let me go back. But it's putting that other person in front of your own interests.
Yeah.
Right. So that is the sacrifice. That is your submitting, if you will, of I am giving in to you. I am making sure you are taken care of before I take care of myself.
So you sound all sweet and everything right now, but when you first started, you said, when we talked about this amongst the mochas, you're like, what I recall is a bunch of strong women who were refusing to give in to the word or give in to the, what'd you say? Give in to the what? Give into it?
Yeah.
Or to do it?
Yeah.
Explain yourself. I mean, what does that mean? Because that in and of itself, I mean, so I have always, I mean, let me be real talk. I have always hated the word.
Yes.
Until I got married and learned more about God. But I've always hated the word because I'm like, it seems unfair.
Well,
it just seemed unfair. But you made that comment, and I think you meant it.
I did.
So what did you mean by that?
I'm not taking anything back from
okay, what did you mean by that?
It's because I think
write him.
Oh my God!
I love you, ladies, but I believe if I'm not mistaken, we were reading the definition from, even though people were trying to say, no, you submit to each other, but I think the definition from Webster is what stood out. And if you look into many churches, it's where religion plays the bigger part in that relationship. It's submitting is being underneath. So you're not equal and you're not submitting to one another. The woman is supposed to submit to the man, and you're supposed to follow what he says. And in the words of Mary Sue Rosemond, I'm not going to follow a fool off a cliff.
I love you, Mama.
so
I have to say, because this is a family show, but you decided, but when I first met Mark's mom, you remember this? When I first met your mom, she was like, I was just so nervous because, me and mamas, they never got along too much. And so the other, they just didn't like me too much. But I was really excited to meet your mom. And you remember that the first thing she said to me, she was cooking. We were in Mississippi, in Jackson, we were in Pearl, Mississippi. And she was cooking. And she turns around. I literally just met her, and she turns around. She's like, Dawn, don't take no shit off Mark. I was like, I love you so much. You're the best
Mama,
woman.
please.
You're the best woman I've ever met in my life. Yeah.
You messing up my game.
But you go ahead. I just felt that was important to understand.
Yes.
But we have voices from the Peanut Gallery saying definitely, I love it. Yeah.
But no, so if you're going to submit to me, then I have to treat you right. Yeah.
Equity. What was the word you said, KP? Equity.
Right.
Yeah.
So we both have to be in this together.
But I still want to dig in on your statement though, because you said it was what you recall was a group of strong. Well, because the reason why I say that is because I'm in that group of strong women.
Yes.
And the way it sounds when you said you had a little bass in your voice, the way it sounds it lands like it's impugning our strength. I'm just being honest. I mean, it feels like, and I don't know if anybody else feels like. Again, this is the raindrop of the day is submit. And I mean, I just let me not bury the lead. As a strong woman, as a strong black woman, as a married woman, I believe 100% in the directive. Wives, submit to your husbands, and it's an honor for me to submit to Mark. I had to learn that was not that was not in the beginning, but it's not something that is. What you think? You making faces?
Yeah. Well, I just want to get some clarity.
Okay,
but we'll get there. Keep going.
No, I'm just simply saying. So that's where my head is when I say the raindrop of the day is submit. it's not just an introduction of a concept. I'm using it as a verb. Submit. If you're married, submit. I'm talking to both of you though.
Yeah.
Talking to both parties in that relationship. Not just talking to I'm not talking just to the women. I'm saying, because when I read what I sent you and I read that article, my gosh, when you read it enveloped and through the lens of love and what the directives that Christ gives the man and the woman in the relationship, he's talking in essence, he's using these words, but he's talking in essence about the same thing, how he is like, love one another. Yes. You have roles. Why, in a way, like wives, you are a support system for them. Let them lead in that. But men, you lead with care and with things. Love is the thing that's kind of weaving all this together. That's deeper. We'll get into that in a minute. But I believe in it. But when you said that, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, the way you said it, I was like, what I really want to say is, like, I want to put, because when you pull facts out there, like, what you trying to say? What you trying to say about that? What you mean about that, right? That's what I wanted to say,
right?
But what do you mean? Because you're like, hey, you sound like a bunch of strong women who didn't want to do it, right. Whatever. But Mug, I mean, no, what does that mean?
Okay, so we're gonna get some clarity on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so and I said it before, the submit that was, I think, in the mindset of the women was that of the Webster Dictionary.
The one that said to give over or yield to the power or authority of another.
Yes.
That one.
In that regard, you guys you're not built that way. You're not gonna just give in to a man just because he's a man. He's got to earn that right in this regard to lead you or to be over you, right? So, but the problem is, this is where the problem is, that people get it twisted when you talk about submitting in a marriage institution, right? Because to be honest with you, the man is supposed to, lead the woman. He's supposed to lead the woman, but we're still side by side. We are equal, right? We are equals. So it's not like I'm over you and you're beneath me, and woman, you do what I say, you go make my plate, you make my meal. That's not marriage. That's not marriage. And so for me to come to you and say, I'm over you, we're off on the wrong foot anyway. Like I said, my mom said, I'm not going to follow a fool off a cliff. So it doesn't matter what your position is, what your title is, what your authority is. If I'm not leading you correctly, how can you follow me?
So so that's there's a lot in there, and you're gonna get letters for sure. But there's a whole bunch of dudes like Mark sucks. I was just, yeah.
But if they listen, their marriages will be a lot better off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So but what does it look like? I mean, because I mean, what does it look like from your perspective? I mean, we could talk about. I mean, we should talk about our own marriage. Like I can sit here and say, like, I think I'm good at submitting. Is that true?
No, it's not.
I'm not. It's not true.
Well, it depends on how you. No,
I'm not good at it.
No.
What do you mean? Why am I not good at it? I think I'm good at it. I think I'm good at it. In my mind.
In your mind.
There's a whole bunch of stuff I was going to say, but I ain't say nothing because it says submit. So I ain't say nothing to her. That's why I let that go.
I don't think that's submitting. I think that's just being quiet. That's what that is. There's a difference.
I'm serious. Right? I think I'm good at it. But I don't think I'm the person I should be asking.
So
good.
In the definition of submitting, you are good at it, right? Not from the Webster Dictionary, but from where submission is grounded in love. You are good at that because you try to make sure I'm taken care of, and I hope I'm good at it because I want to make sure you're taken care of.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
So I think, this is what I need. I need people to understand and to erase their minds of the definition of submit from the world's point of view.
Yeah.
Right? And so you have to look at submission from how God sees it. And that's submitted in love. So when I submit to you, I am putting your needs before my need. I'm making sure you're taken care of before I take care of myself.
Yeah.
That's submitting. That's submission. That's washing your nasty, sweaty feet. I'm not saying your feet are nasty, sweaty.
They're not.
But
They're
they have some corn chip qualities to them. But you know what I mean? So I'm making sure you're good before I take care of me.
Yeah.
And so
I say it like this. I mean, we used to say this. Like, I think that I process submitting like what you said, and like maybe it's the same thing, just phrased differently from the way my brain works. But like, how do we outlove each other?
Yes.
I mean, like, really, really competitive. I want to win.
right.
And that, you know, like, how do we outlove each other,
yes.
right? Like, how do I, and it you know, and it sounds all nice, but sometimes that looks like that article that I sent. I was trying to find it. That article that I sent you, like, talked about, like, sometimes that may mean yielding yourself, you know, let's say you had a rough day, but yielding your need to emote about it because your spouse had one too.
Yeah.
And you're like, let them
Get it out.
Yeah. Or, you know, it can be something as simple as, and that's not simple, but like, you know, it's like, what are we going to eat or where are we going to go to? I'm going to put my career on hold because because of an illness or because, you know, I'm going to do this and work like this because you want to go back to school or vice versa.
Right.
I want to go back to school.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and things like that. I mean, I remember, and it's been funny. Like, I remember, and this is going to come up later. We'll end up having we're going to talk about so many things in these Nuptials episodes. We're going to talk about roles, gender roles, because my gosh, that's a whole nother segment that kind of crosses over with this whole idea of submission. Because I think that thing, I mean, so why do you think he said, I mean, it's not like a, because I think this is the thing that trips us up and where you get that kind of authority figure kind of concept. I mean, even though I understand the article that we read today, like, talked about, and I'll share the article in the notes, whatever section of the podcast, so you guys can look it up. But they talked, you know, it explains that really everything is woven and undergirded by love, even though there's separate words being used. It doesn't say, I mean, the scripture before it says, you know, submit to one another, but the one that specifically calls out wives and husbands, he's like, wives, submit to your husbands.
Yeah.
Husbands, I gotta find that. I mean, why do you think that's the message? I gotta find it.
You already know why it is, and
I used to be mad at him for that. I was like, look, you know, you could have said something else.
I can tell you right now, and this may not be a popular statement, but women are so. A lot of women are strong in their voice. The voice is strong with that one.
The voice is strong. That's why that scripture, better dwell on the rooftop in the cold with no jacket than in the house with a cackling woman.
Yeah.
That one was a mistake too. I don't know why that's in there. I know it's not. That's a whole nother. I know it is.
And so
I know it is. Yeah.
A lot of women have their opinions are real strong. Their thought processes, if I get that word out, are really strong. And a lot of times you think the way you think is the right way and the only way to do things.
I agree with that.
You know?
I also say it this way. I mean, I'm going to get the letters now. I truly, truly believe that we as wives in particular, having been one now for 20 years and counting.
What? Put that dub on it. But go ahead.
Okay. You stop back there behind the camera. All right. So, but I truly believe that we have the power to destroy our husbands. We literally in our words have the power to destroy our husbands. I think that honestly, I think that if this is just the way I've always processed it, I think that, I mean, God's obviously brilliant, but it's just like, my gosh,
He knows, like, I created. I mean, like you said, the force is strong with that one.
Yeah.
You know, and that the ability is so there. I have to give them directives to get things in the right order. The scripture is actually Ephesians 5, 23, 24, what have you. But in verse, and this is the Message Bible version. It says in verse 21, it says, out of respect for Christ, be courteously reverent to one another. Wives, understand and support your husbands in ways that show your support for Christ. The husband provides leadership to his wife the way Christ does his church, but not by domineering, but by cherishing. So just as the church submits to Christ as he exercises such leadership, wives should likewise submit to their husbands. That's an interesting thing. That's the message. But so that thing is what you're saying. What your mama was saying.
Yeah.
As he exercises such leadership, wives the same way.
Yeah.
You submit in that regard to that leadership. And then it goes on in verse 25, husbands, go all out in your love for your wives exactly as Christ did for the church.
Yeah.
A love marked by giving, not getting. Yeah. Christ's love makes the church whole. His words evoke her beauty. Everything he does and says is designed to bring the best out of her, dressing her in dazzling silk, radiant with holiness. And that is how husbands ought to love their wives. They're really doing themselves a favor since they're already one in marriage. No one abuses his own body, does he? He feeds and pampers it.
Yeah.
That's how Christ treats us, the church, since we are part of his body. And this is why a man leaves his mother and cherishes his wife. No longer two, they become one flesh. And so, yeah, go ahead.
That right there, that scripture right there says it all.
Yeah.
As far as submitting to your husband or submitting to one another, right? That right there completely destroys the Webster's Dictionary's version of submission.
Well, I think that Webster's right. Webster is right in that that's what the word technically means in terms of having a... Bear with me here. See if I can get there. You may not buy this. But that the word says, so the dictionary definition of submit says accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. Accept or yield to a superior force.
There is a problem.
But here's the thing. I think the word is intact. It's just a word defined. It's actually vanilla. It's just the definition of that word. Right. It's been interpreted that superior force though, man has put himself in that.
Right.
Because of the directive, hey, wives, submit to your husbands.
Right.
Got it. Wives, submit to the superior force that is me, your husband. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
But if you read the Message Bible version of Ephesians, it's saying, yeah. That authority that she's submitting to, husband, is mine.
Yeah.
That's the authority she submits to. So
I got you.
If you're aligned husband with me and are handling her the way Christ loved the church, cool.
Yeah.
I'm the superior one.
Yeah.
Not you.
No, I
Does that make sense?
That
I don't know.
that's
the way I can. Disagree with me, but
the way you put that's perfect. That the superior force is God, right?
Yeah. You're asking me my way I work that out in my mind?
Yeah, in your mind. But the problem is, like you said, man puts himself in as the superior force.
Without doing the work.
Yeah.
I do think, though, again, this will come later in another episode. I do think, though, there are roles and an order of things. And I receive you as the head of our household. I remember once when I was getting ready to buy. I have just true confessions. I have a bit of a shoe addiction. Not to you, to them. I have a shoe addiction. Okay. I already know that. Yeah, you already know that. I have a shoe addiction. And I was getting ready to buy a pair of couture shoes. I think they were some crazy, they were just expensive shoes. But I tell myself, I need them because I have to speak and the people need to see this.
Yes. The world
needs
to see that.
Yeah, I just can't even, my words ain't even going to come out right if I don't have these shoes. And I remember going over trying to put my outfit together, and I shared with my friend, I was like, hey, I think these shoes would be fire, and they're this, and they're all these things. and she said, yes, she was like, they're gonna be bomb and all these things. She's like, get them. And I was like, cool. I just need to ask Mark first. And I remember her comment. This was a long time ago. And I remember her comment to me, well, she wasn't trying to harm me. It's just, I think it's something you've got to really get your arms around in this thing called this Wild Wild West thing called marriage, this concept, because she says to me, man, why you gotta do that? You make your own money. I mean, like, what you gotta do that for? I mean, what's the big deal? And I was like, you trying to get me divorced. I was like, you trying to get me divorced. Oh, get thee behind me, Satan. No, I'm not. And it wasn't. And yes, I have my own career, and I work hard, but it's not my money.
Do you still have to ask if you know it's within budget in terms of like if y'all already have a budget?
So the I don't know if they'll hear the question. Will they hear the question? I'm going to repeat it.
Yeah, repeat it.
Yeah. So the question, so our producer asked me a question, and he's like, "So do I still have to ask if you already know it's in budget, or what was the?"
Yeah, whatever the set, you gotta know you have a set budget, and as long as
Yeah. So we've kind of hijacked ourselves or life hacked ourselves to help with that. So we agreed, although I mess it up all the time, but we agreed that you're not. We could spend up to $200.
Yeah, we bumped it up to $200 because you kept going over.
I know, because it was low. Target. You can't go to Target without $200. You can't even get out of Target. It's like, because you go in Target and, they got the things like, look at that. It's like, imagine, like, ladle with a spoon and a thing, and it's a chapstick holder at the same time. Target, you can't get out of Target. So, anyway, but we have a certain limit, and we're like, you can buy wherever you want up to that limit. If it's over that limit, though, we have to ask each other. So in that sense, I mean, whatever works for you in that regard. But for me, with regard to asking, I process it the way we've chosen to be married is, it's not my money, it's not his money. I don't care. I make $1 million and he makes $1 million, or he makes $1 million and I make $1 million. We make $1,001,000. It's our money, so I don't get to just do whatever. Now, the asking, what's interesting, in real talk, if he would have been like, no, I don't think that's smart right now, honey, blah, 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 whatever, I wouldn't have got the shoes. Now, I have to be honest with you. I think if you would have said, so it goes back to how you handle a person. If he would have said, like, I was trying to get your voice. No, you do it. You do it. Tell me to go get them shoes.
No, you can't get them shoes. How's that?
I still would have them shoes. I'm like, he tripping. He don't feel good. You can't get them shoes. So I just wanted to respect our union, our marriage. I don't want to act like we're that thing he said, like that, that's why your man leaves the father and mother and cherishes his wife. No longer two, they become one flesh. I didn't think it was right. It was like, just like when I got married, I know a lot of people, again, I'm probably going to get some, don't write me. I'm not going to respond. But about this. But otherwise you can write me. I'll be glad to respond to you. But like when people say like, always keep you a separate account.
Yeah.
Because girls, you never know what's going to happen or whatever. I was told that. I don't do that. I mean, again, that's the way we choose to be married, because I'm like, hey, that means I got one foot out the door. I'm kind of preparing for that day.
Yeah.
And I don't want to prepare for that day, because we talked about that in the first episode of these nuptials. Nobody refused God. Remember our day? Yeah. Nobody refused God. Nobody refused God. Nobody refused God. Yeah. So nobody leaves. So I can't plan for divorce in the beginning of my marriage and hold out contingencies just in case I'm gonna keep my apartment in case this stuff don't work out and then I have a place to stay. Go ahead.
Just people we know like that.
Yeah. So submit for me. In this context, is an honor. Even though it was a journey to get there. And again, I still don't do it I mean, when I said don't do it, I think I can say this. I think you maybe tell me if you agree with this. I think you said it before. I just want to make sure. I think I'm always trying to be mindful of you. I just sometimes get selfish.
Well, we all do.
Is that fair?
Yeah,
right?
no, that's perfect. I mean, because we're selfish beings, and so you know, you got to give them that article. But in that article, it talks about we would as human beings, we would not put other people first
Ever.
on purpose.
Ever.
Without having God at the center.
Yeah. You'd be like, whose side are you on? You're like, mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really,
Yeah.
It's no different. Like, you know, you're in bed. I just get in bed. And this
is an object lesson. This don't really happen. Go ahead. I ain't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, it's an object lesson. Yeah. But you're always, it seems like, don't you want, it's this question. Don't you want to go get me a glass of water? Don't you want to go get me some tea? And so for me, some days it's like, don't ask me that question, because no, I don't want to go get you no water. Didn't you just see me get in bed? I was just in the kitchen. You could have called me then. But you wait until I got in the bed and said, don't you want to go get? No, I don't. But why do I?
Why do you?
Because I submit.
Is that really what's going through your mind, though? What?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what it is. It's not. I don't think of the word "I'm submitting to you," but
yeah.
I want to make sure you're taken care of.
Yeah.
I love you, and I want to make sure you're good.
Yeah. Likewise.
You know.
Likewise.
Because otherwise, you better get up and get your own water. If I wasn't trying to love you.
It's. So, you have a question. We have another question. So the question on the table is, for men, this is for you. You gotta take the.
Yeah.
Do men do things for their wives for their own peace of mind?
Wow. You know, if I do this or don't do this, or say this or don't say this, or if I say it this way or not that way, things can go a total different way.
Well, so for that question, and he said that if I do or don't do certain things, then things could go a completely different, opposite direction. The conversation could get heated, attitudes could be thrown. So I think that can happen. I think a lot of that has to do with communication, right? So you have to be open, and she has to be open, and you have to be willing to be open and honest and willing to accept the answers that are given, right? So if she asks me, or if I'm doing something for her, and I'm like, let me do this because I don't want to hear her mouth. I don't want her having an attitude. I don't want her holding out on me. Then we need to have a conversation.
Yeah. So
because I shouldn't be doing things so I'm not hearing her mouth, because all that is, what that's building up in me is resentment.
Yeah. May I?
Yeah, go right
I think what you're hearing say, definitively, yes. I think that happens. I think it's happened to us at times. I mean, I'll give an example here in a minute. Definitively, yes, but I agree with you. I think it's a terrible reason why to do it. I think that's something that has to get fixed. If that's the reason why you're being motivated, because if I don't do this, then they're gonna be quiet. If they don't, it's a dangerous place to be.
I found myself in situations, like simple situations, where a lady friend would say, "Hey, I want to come over or visit or something." And you're like, "Hey, you can come over," and then they'll hit you with a question like, "You want me to come over?" And it's like, well, I mean, it wasn't necessarily a want, but I mean, since you looked it up, you can for sure come over.
You're welcome to come over.
You want me to come over?
Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to, come on. Like, no, you want me to come over.
Yeah. That's a game.
That's a game.
That's a game. So we talked about that. I mean, again, I shall say it again. Tricks are for kids. It's a game, and that sort of commentary. So it's like, and I used to do them all the time. Like, like you said. So what a producer said. He was like, hey. I gotta get you a better name than producer. Kevin Hart had Black Hand or White Hand. We gotta get a better name than that. We'll come up with some KP, but it's like anyway. But but so he took that, but I don't know if he patented it. So Black Hand said, he's like, so if his girl says, hey, like she calls and says, and I want to get back to what your thing, but do you want to, what are you doing? Can I come over? And then he says, yeah, sure, come over. And then she says, well, do you want me to come over? And he's like, I mean, you're welcome to come over. She's like, yeah, but do you want me to come over? And you're like, well, I mean, if you want to come over, you're welcome to come over. And it's like a big thing. Yeah. But the truth in that response is, I suspect. You tell me if I'm wrong. If I can play this out, if this is a truthful conversation. Hey, what you doing? Nothing. Can I come over? Yeah. You want me to come over? I ain't thought about it, but you want to come over? You can come over. Yeah. That's the truth, right? Okay. So all that other stuff that before the truth kind of exchange is a game. It's an insecure. It's born out of insecurity. She needs to hear. Whomever she is needs to hear. And guys play games too. He needs to be needed. And so they need to be like, I need you to tell me that you want me so that I can move. When in reality, quite frankly, that shouldn't be a reason why you do something or not do something. So quite frankly, just whomever that is, he or she, they have to grow up from that, because the games don't work. They just lead you down a path. Like I said, we played them. I played them forever. They don't work, and they don't help, and they make the other person pissed off at you because you're like, I feel like I'm getting manipulated, and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't understand where we are right now. I was watching the game, and you asked me if you wanted to come over. I said, yeah. I don't know why we still talking, and now now you mad at me, and I don't know why you mad at me, and now I don't want you to come over at all. Now you're stuck because now you coming, and it's a crazy thing, and it's all born out of insecurity. It's a trick, and it doesn't have any place, certainly in dating, but beyond it definitely does not serve you well in any sort of marriage. So if there's advice to be given here at all, it's just don't play games, and don't allow people to bait you into playing games. I mean, one of the things I'm grateful for with Mark is that he wouldn't ever take the bait. So I'd be like, hey, like I said, I give him hypotheticals all the time. He's like, nope. When you want to talk to me like a grown up, then he didn't say that, but that's in essence what he's saying, because he wouldn't respond. And so just don't play games. We don't sometimes, and I can talk about me. I can't talk about any other female. I didn't play them because I was trying to manipulate Mark. I just didn't have a full appreciation for my own insecurities. And I didn't know that they had been leading for me and emoting for me until I encountered a man who had no tolerance for it. And then it kind of became a mirror. And I was like, what's wrong with him? It's like, nothing. You didn't ask him a real question. Or this is not real. You're making this stuff up. You love me if you do that. It's like, how about I just tell you I love you and we can just stop all the rest of this stuff. And so it's just, I didn't know that. And so he or she who's doing this, it's not, they just have to help, just help them. If you care about them and you want to be in a relationship with them, establish your relationship on a foundation of just don't play any games. Deal with me straight up. Deal with me. And sometimes that's hard. But deal with me straight up, and we've had to grow in that. And so in back to your other question, like I said, the question you asked about, do guys just say that because they want to just like say the right thing? We've had that. He and I had remember the conversation we just had about not too long ago about like I'll say something like, make a decision about this. I said, where do you want to eat? Or where do you want to go to dinner? And he'd be like, whatever you want to go to dinner. And I'm like, golly, make a decision. And we had this whole thing about that. And when he finally got to it, he was like, well, it's kind of easier for me to just let you pick because you're going to criticize what I say. So why don't I just,
why are we going around all these trees and these circles when you're going to reject? And I always said you always get the shotgun out.
Yes, yeah.
And shoot down my ideas. So just go ahead and pick.
So I don't care. That conversation ended though. That answer pissed me off. But it required a change for both of us, because on my end I had to recognize I do that. That I ask him like, why don't you order for me? Because the last time I ordered for you, you'd be like, why you order that? I'm like, oh, okay. So I got to stop doing that. But by the same token, what would you say? You have to start like just
choosing and say, this is what I got you.
Yeah, this is what we're doing. And stop, because part of that is his shrinking back from the conflict. And if you think you are going to make that your marriage is going to be free from it,
you might as well not get married.
Don't get married.
Yeah.
Don't get married.
It's not.
Yeah, there's types of conflict. Your marriage can be free from toxic, cancerous conflict.
Yeah. But conflict?
But conflict, no.
No.
And so he was like, I'd rather just not deal with the conflict. She can pick. But I felt like that was putting all the responsibility on me. And I didn't realize I was doing the other stuff. But what I said was, you know what? I got an opinion about everything. I do. I mean, if you be like, should this, I never would maybe even think about it. You'd be like, that water bottle. You like that water bottle? I'd be like, I never thought about it. But when I think about it, it's a little short. I would actually make the mouth wider so you can put some ice in it. But I got an opinion about everything. So I'm like, so you can't be moved by that. Because I'm also not shy. So if it's something that really, really matters to me and that changes what I feel like impacts our life, then I'll dig in and we'll stay there until we get, but if it's, hey, what do you want for dinner? I don't know, you pick. Okay, we're going to Olive Garden. I don't get to be like, Olive Garden sucks. Unless you want to sponsor me. Otherwise.
Olive Garden.
Then Olive Garden. The greatest salad. We'd be some salad eating mugs right now.
Man. They're in this bowl,
breadsticks. Yeah,
man,
all this stuff, yeah. But
Bring it on.
So I think it's just a matter of, like submission comes, I think it takes so many different forms. And it's not this, I rule over you. And it's not this for the woman, I completely, reduce myself for the pleasure of another person.
And that is the problem. And that's where a lot of marriages are. And I would say maybe a lot of older marriages where the man thinks he has the final say, not just the final say, but the only say.
I think that's it. Yeah,
the only say. And that is the problem, because when I got married to have a life partner, to help build my life, to help build our family, to help build our wealth, to help build everything. Yeah. It wasn't just about me. I mean, if that was the case, I could stay married or stay single. But it's about coming together and building something. And I can't build it on my own, right? And so I need a partner, somebody who's on my side.
Yeah. We've got these things. We have like, we call it our like, I tell Mark, like, you gonna pull your husband card here or your wife card.
Yeah.
And we gave these to each other. I don't remember what we did. It must have been early on in our marriage, but we have this thing where there are certain things that maybe you don't even have the words to explain it. But you feel that strongly about it. And if he says like, no, I'm pulling my husband card, I'm not going to say anything else about it. I may not even understand. I may be totally angry about it, but I have to respect it because I understand that that's a thing somewhere. For some reason, this thing is a thing for him. I remember, there've been, only been a few times thus far that we've done it. I mean, I think one was somebody I was going to have in my wedding. He's like, that girl's not going to be in your wedding. Period. And we wasn't even a husband card then. It was like a fiance card. It was like that, and I was like, but just all sorts of things, like that. So we've developed a language within our relationship to help navigate this submission, which I think is why, and when people talk about like when they, and I'm not judging or impugning everyone, but I think this is maybe where your difficulty lies, to the extent you having, like, sometimes when people live together. Yeah. And they're like, well, it's just the same thing. I mean, what's the big deal when you get married? I mean, it's just like we're married. I mean, we live together, we share expenses, we do whatever. I mean, same thing. Except for that one thing that you're not in covenant with one another. Yeah. So actually, you can literally bounce. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can literally bounce. I mean,
at any moment.
You can just be like, hey, I know for a fact. I mean, if there have been times. But I've never wanted in 20 years, I've never wanted to leave. I've never wanted to not be married to Mark. But there are times where I'm like, my gosh, this is so hard, right? This is so hard. And if, I've matured certainly, but
when it got really hard when we're dating, my knee jerk was,
I'm out.
hey, I don't talk to me no more. I'm breaking up.
Yeah.
We broke up.
You know
Yeah.
me, king of no drama.
Yeah. We're broken
got
up.
time for
Yeah,
all that.
yeah. It was the Seinfeld thing. She's like, I think we ought to break up. Were we together? Like, yeah. Like, were we together?
Yeah.
She was like, yes, we're together. He was like, all right, we're broken up. So I just feel like it matters, and so it just changes things, it shifts things, and so because you're saying this word,
Yeah.
you're saying submit. When you say I do,
Yeah.
golly, you better mean that.
And once again, it goes back to I'm making sure your needs are taken care of before mine. And a lot of times that is not portrayed or said when you talk about submitting. It's not that when at the beginning I said I gives it up. You know what I mean? It's not that. It's I am making sure you are before me. That's submitting. You are before me. You know, if you want the big piece of chicken, I'm giving you the big piece of chicken.
Look, you ain't gonna give it that. Mark lying to you right now. Okay, look, I'm breaking the fourth wall. Mark is lying to you right now. He ain't gonna give me that big. He ain't gonna give me the
You
last
can
piece
have
of
the
chicken.
big
He
piece
ain't gonna
of
give
chicken.
the cake. None of it. If that's
only,
the test.
only to you, baby.
I may not give you the last piece or the biggest piece, but I'm gonna give you the last bite of it.
I'm not even sure I'm gonna get that.
You're not gonna get that.
But in all fairness, I'm not gonna give him none of my fries.
Right.
Either. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not giving him any of my fries. So yeah, no, in front. The other day we went to McDonald's. I bought him fries. He's like, I don't want anything. I bought him some fries. Why? Because I knew when I got home, he was gonna be like, let me have a piece of one of your fries. I'm like, nah, player. And then we got problems. So I just bought. Now I've learned. See, you get smart about how to submit. So we're gonna wrap. We got to wrap this up. We can talk about this forever. But I just so what do you say? I mean, there are people out. I mean, there are people. They're married,
Yes.
and this is a real pain point for them. Or and I don't want anybody to think that it hasn't been for us. This is learning behavior. We are still learning how to outlove one another every day. Some days we get it right or do it better than others, but we're this learn behavior. So you got people out there who are married, people out here who want to be married, about to get married. Some people who are not, just got a whole. You got a diverse group of folks who watch or who vibe with us on Standing in the Rain. So submit? I mean, what you got to say to them, husband? Because y'all don't talk a lot. So the floor is yours.
The floor is mine.
Yeah,
I get the floor.
I mean,
give me the mic.
unless you mess it up.
Well, I'm gonna do that. That's what I
I don't even need it. I got my own.
So for a man, I will tell you this: love your wife. Love your wife. Submit to your wife. And what I mean by that is make sure your wife is taken care of. Make sure she is good before your own needs are met. That is it in a nutshell. If you do that, that's your first step, right? And you may be saying, well, she doesn't do that for me. Because she's a mirror. Look at yourself, right? Wow. What are you showing her? Are you loving her the way she needs to be loved? The definition. So we're going to put the article in the link in there. Yeah. Read the article. Read the definition. We're going to put all that in there. And understand that. This is your job. As the head of the household, you gotta be lead by example. Many times she has told me, you're the quarterback and we come in the huddle, but you don't give me a play. So I'm just running all over the field. Give her the play. Give her the play. And this is a conversation that you need to have, right? And you can tell her, hey, and you may have been doing it wrong for so many years. You may be in this game 40 years. Doesn't mean you can't change and be better, right? So you tell her, you have a conversation. Hey, this is where I was. This is where my mindset was, but I have made a shift, and I'm putting you first. I am submitting to you to make sure that your needs are taken care of, because it may be that She has rode with you as you've gone through your career up and down, but she has dreams and desires of her own. And you have held her back from following those dreams because she's submitting to you, loving you, making sure you're taken care of. Make sure she's taken care of because you can get yours.
That's off the dome.
Off the dome.
Off the dome.
Not be dropping bombs on
And for me, I will simply say, submission is not weakness. That's not a synonym. Submission in the right context, relative to the right person, relative, in the right order of things, is one of the most beautiful things that we can do as women, as wives. And quiet all the noise that suggests that somehow you are less strong or less powerful. Less anything, quite frankly, simply because you take care of your husband. Whatever that means for you. Fixing his plate, rubbing his back, whatever. Making love regularly, all of that. I mean, just it's just not taking anything away from you. You're pouring into the us, the union. And so I just, it's one of the most beautiful things we can do. And I think a lot of times, and I guess I will say this too, because we went through this. Remember, after we did share these at one point, I did these things for Mark, which I'd love to tell you. I mean, these things called "I See Your Work." They were writings, because I express myself a lot through writing, and I did these. I wrote these. I started writing like these. Were they emails to you? I sent you emails called "I See Your Work," because at the time that I was impressed to do them, I was so. I had a serious case of the uhs with regard to Mark. I did not like him at all. I loved him. I did not like him at all. I didn't feel like my needs were being met. I didn't think he was doing anything to take care of me the way I thought he should be. I didn't think he was paying attention to me. And I was pissed. And I was pissed at him. And I was actually angry at God because I was like, nobody listening to me. And I remember one day yelling, actually. Mark wasn't home. And I was like, my God. Because I was like, Mark was like, he needs this. And I talked to my friends and I read this stuff. And it's like, do this for him. I'm like, who's going to do that for me? Who's going to take care of me? Right? Also, and all I heard, seriously, put this on everything. All I heard was, who's going to take care of me? Who's going to look out for me? And all I heard was the Holy Spirit's like, I do. And so all I was impressed to do is to start catching Mark doing good and giving him what I wanted, what I needed. And so I started, my love language is are words. I write. If I give you my words, my gosh, my words spoken or withheld, they're my thing. And so I started giving him my words, and I created these things called "I See Your Work." And I started on purpose at every turn, trying to send things to him where I saw him doing amazing things, whether it be, it was crazy stuff. It'd be like, I watched him at a business meeting and I wanted to write to him where he did something and he bought dinner or whatever. Things that you're like, come on, I do that every week. But I was so consumed with keeping score, and kind of shouting all the things that I was doing and what about me that I was stuck. And so God had me get out of my way by giving Mark what I needed. I say that only to say that this thing that we're in, this covenant we're in, again, this is our anchor is grounding our marriage in what God says about it. There's just no loss when you do things His way. So love that dude, and my pastor said this phrase this way, and I'll repeat it. I love it. Ask God, what can you do to allow Him, God, to love your spouse more through you? That's hot. That'll take you out. Things He'll do that get you out of the way, so that your marriage can be what I think it was designed to be. Yeah? That's all I got. So the raindrop for the day is submit.
Submit.
Gives it up. That's the subtitle. Gives it up. Yeah. So, so stay tuned. More from these nuptials. Like I said, we're going to bring all kinds of people on. We're going to do all kinds of things. We're going to be cooking. Well, I'm going to be cooking. Mark going to be sous chefing. Because that, just, again, we just...
That's a source.
Submit, Mark, submit. Anyway, so just stay tuned, stay locked with Standing in the Rain. Don't you miss a chapter. Don't you miss anything. We got so much coming, so much good coming, all of it designed to point you to your greatness. Nothing more powerful, like I said, than a person turned on completely to the fact that they love y'all. Let's go.
Yeah. I love it.
She was created right. We can rock together. We can rock our royalty together. I know who I am.